If everyone can mute themselves for now, that'll be great.
I'm going to.
Okay. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar on our India tour, taking place in February 2026. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth. I'm from Seagull Travel and Tours, and I absolutely love India. I've been traveling there for the last 16 years, and yeah, every time I go back, I just fall more and more in love with the country. It's really a wonderful experience. Um, Today, I really want to help you discover what our tour is about, and I want to help you make a decision to see whether or not this tour is the right fit for you. So to do that, I've got a little bit of a slideshow that I would like to present to all of you. So give me a few minutes and we can get going with that. Okay, so yeah, this picture is actually taken in Jaipur, and that is the Palace of the Winds. Yeah, it's quite interesting actually, because behind that is not such a big building. So that's quite interesting. Anyway, moving along. I think India has a reputation that it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, absolutely. I remember the first time I went to India in 2009. It was definitely very overwhelming for me. And yes, India can be intense. It does have a very large population. So it is busy. But I think beyond the crowds and the noise and everything that is different for us, there's also a lot to learn from the country. And we can do India in a way that's not as overwhelming. And that's really what we try and do at Seagull, is to still show you the authentic India, but to show it to you in a way that feels a little bit more calm, perhaps a little bit more comfortable, definitely maybe safer, not that you're in danger in India, but safer in terms of just the way you experience the country, that you don't feel constantly overwhelmed in terms of your senses. So it's not a sensory overload all the time. So yeah, using our experience of the last 30 years that we've been curating, actually it's more than 30 years that we've been curating group tours, we've really planned this tour over years to be a good experience in terms of what you take in, what kind of history we see, but also some of the other cultural experiences like the food we eat, and also having some local experiences. Okay. We stay in decent hotels that we've selected ourselves, that we've stayed in many times before. Some of them are really, really very luxurious. And then, for instance, in Jaipur, we stay in a family-run hotel in Amer. And yeah, you get the feeling of Indian family hotel that's often used for weddings, etc. So very different experience, but a lot of our clients actually say at the end of the tour that that is their favorite hotel. So bottom line, this is a carefully put together itinerary to give you what we believe is the best experience for a first-time traveler to India. Okay. So with all of that said and done, yes, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel as if you're not being overwhelmed, but you still do need to experience India if you're going to go there. And we want you to have those experiences. So for instance, when we're in Delhi, we're going to do a rickshaw ride through Old Delhi, where a cycle rickshaw takes you through the narrow alleys under the cables, and you'll see the alleys where they sell gold and where they sell fabric and spices, because every alley has a different product that they sell. And there's a masala chai stall or shop that we always stop at, because the masala chai is amazing and it's safe to drink, and we're all going to stand there and have some chai, and maybe they'll be making fresh jalebis on the street corner and we'll have some jalebis. But we know where it's safe. to have those things. And so that's really nice. We still get to have our feet on the ground amongst the people. We can have the chai, we can have the jalebi, but we know that it's safe. I definitely know that our guide Pankaj is probably going to buy everyone a kachori when we get to Jaipur. Yeah, so we're going to be in Delhi. We're going to start in Delhi. We're going to do the Golden Triangle, and then we'll go to Kerala, which is in the south, and we'll go on a houseboat in the backwaters. So it's a varied experience. And we do give our guests time in between to just go back to the hotel or perhaps wander the streets on their own to just process everything that they've been experiencing, because it's so different and you need time to process it. Okay. So I've mentioned the Golden Triangle. So what the Golden Triangle entails is Agra, Delhi, and Jaipur, or Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. And we will definitely be going to Agra to visit the world famous Taj Mahal. And we do this at golden hour. So whether it's at sunrise or at sunset, depending on the weather and our timing, we will definitely be going to the Taj Mahal at golden hour, ideal for photographers. And it's amazing to see the white marble actually change shade or shades of color while the sun is rising or setting. So it's absolutely amazing. Then we go to Jaipur, my favorite place in the whole of India. It is a modern city with really some very deep, very old history. It's still got a Maharaja. So there's this whole contrast in the city. The shopping in Jaipur is absolutely fantastic. The Amber Fort, or the Amir Fort, is one of my favorite places. It's in the mountains of Rajasthan. So yeah, we'll be going to Jaipur. And remember that very first photo I showed you of the Palace of the Winds. And we'll be walking through Jaipur streets. It's quite safe to do so. We'll help you cross the streets, and you'll be able to see how they make those typical Indian bangles, or you can look around in the bazaar for goodies that you might want to get, and there'll be time for you to have some clothes tailored if that is what you want to do. So lots of experiences in Jaipur, from history to shopping, nice food, some of the best ice cream I've ever had. So yeah, lots of fun that we'll be having on this tour when we're in the north. And then we fly south and we go to Kerala. So we fly to Cochin, and then we start off in Alleppey, where we board the houseboat and we go through the canals of the backwaters. So this is fantastic because it's just a little bit of downtime after the busyness of the north. And after we've been on the houseboat, which is really a wonderful experience. If we can find some fresh prawns along the way, we might give you the opportunity to buy some prawns, and the staff will cook them for you. And it's a completely different world from the north. And after the houseboat, we go to Cochin, which is such an interesting city in the south. Fort Cochin holds so much history, from the old Jewish synagogue to the church in Cochin. Just as I said, a completely different world. Fort Cochin is also a lovely place to walk around in because it's not, there's a pedestrian area, so not a lot of cars moving around, and you can safely move from one shop to the other. So different shopping experience, nice to buy those last minute goodies that you hadn't gotten around to. Right, and then just before I go on with this slide, after we've been to Cochin, we also head over to Mumbai, where we end the tour. We go to the very early morning market. We see how the newspapers are distributed in the morning. So yeah, a really nice experience. So the question then is, why the Seagull tour and what makes our tour different? As I've mentioned, we've done this for a couple of years, and it's not just a tour that we run and we say, okay, let's tick boxes. Yes, absolutely, we see the important things, but we really also do try to have you experience India, whether it's having the masala chai or cooking with Hemant in Jaipur, or you know, having a fresh lime and soda in the streets of Cochin. We want it to be more than just going from one monument to the other. We've worked with Pankaj for a number of years. He's part of our Seagull family. We've chosen the places where we stop carefully. So we know between Agra and Jaipur, we stop at this place, because that is where we can have a good meal and where it's safe to eat, etc. And as I said, we've stayed in the hotels. We really do know our product. Then, I'm so sorry, that went a bit quickly. And then I thought I can tell you everything about what we do, but it might be better for you to actually hear what one of our past guests had to say.
Okay. Ek wil net sê as mense my vra hoekom ek met Seagull toer, want ons is op Indië, is my eerste keer in Indië, dan sê ek altyd want ek vertrou hulle. Wat hulle vir my sê is wat ek kry. As hulle vir my sê ek kry 4-ster hotel, dan kry ek 'n 4-ster hotel en nie 'n 3-ster hotel nie. En maar weet julle wat, op daai program wat julle kry, daar word soveel verrassings ingewerk. Daar is soveel extras, daar is soveel goed wat jy nooit kon dink dat iemand so wyd kan dink om dit in 'n toergroep in te sit nie. En die feit dat hulle klein groepe vat, is fantasties. Ons het byvoorbeeld vanaand hier by die hotel wat aan 'n Indiese familie behoort, fantastiese kookles gehad met oorgedrapeerde stoele en by die swembad. Dit is net, ja, Seagull is vir my the go-to.
Right, so I was planning on discussing this route with you at this stage, but obviously I've already done that. So let's just do a very quick run through again. We fly from Joburg to Delhi. If you're in Cape Town, we can arrange for you to fly from Cape Town as well. And we start our tour in Delhi, as I mentioned. We spend a couple of days in Delhi. Then we go to Agra, and from Agra, we go to Jaipur. We then fly south, where we go to Alleppey and Cochin, and after that we go to Mumbai. So that's a very quick overview of the itinerary, but you are more than welcome to also get the itinerary if you have not received it yet. Just send us an email to info@seagulltours.co.za and you can get the itinerary, but I'll share our contact details later. Right, and then just some questions that we often get asked. We've already discussed the dates. If you want to travel to India, I really do suggest that you are at least moderately fit. For instance, when we were walking around at the Amer Fort, you do need to be able to walk around on your own. There's some inclines. It's not always even. And yes, we do try and help, but we cannot help the entire tour group. So it is important that you are at least reasonably fit. We, on our India tour, we include all the dinners and the breakfasts. And as I said, there's some bonus local food tastings. Pankaj is our guide in the north, and we have a fantastic guide in the south as well. So that's all taken care of, that we have good, knowledgeable guides. Our entrance fees are included. As a South African passport holder, you do need a visa, but it's an easy visa to get. It's an e-visa. You do not have to go in person. Fantastic accommodation, as I've already met, and we make use of decent buses. Yeah, they will not be having flowers on the windows or on the ceiling or anything like that. Okay. Right, and then if we talk about the tour cost, it's $4,340 per person sharing. We use the exchange rate on the day of invoicing. So it's an FEC exchange rate that we get from the bank, and then we use that exchange rate on the day of invoicing. That is for the main tour. So that's for the tour that does everything that I've explained now. But if you do want to go to Varanasi as well, an optional extension is possible, right? If you don't want to share a room, you'll unfortunately need to pay a single supplement. And then if you do want to book on this tour, we have a deposit plan basically. So the total deposit, which unfortunately is non-refundable, is 30,000 Rand. But we split that into a number of payments for you so that you don't have to pay it all at once. Okay, just a little bit more about who we are. So we're not a global franchise. We're a South African family-run company. As I said earlier, we've been doing this for more than 30 years. Our groups are small for this tour. We're taking an absolute maximum of 16 people. We try to stick to a balanced pace so that we don't have to rush our people, so that there's time to actually process and just take everything in. There will be a South African tour leader going with the group, but we, as I've said earlier, we make use of local Indian experts. Yeah, and again, this itinerary is designed for you to actually connect with the country. It's not just to say, you've been to Agra, you've seen the Taj Mahal, you've been to Jaipur, you've seen the Amer Fort, great, you've seen India, let's go. That's not the type of tour this is. Okay. And then I'm going to stop sharing my slide, and then I'd love to invite anyone who has some questions to ask me any questions. If you ask me a question, that does not mean that you have to book on this tour. It's my way. Well, this webinar is our way of helping you decide whether this trip is the right trip for you. So if anyone's got a question, they can unmute themselves. If they don't want to ask it in person, you're welcome to type your question in the chat bar, and I will stay on here for a couple of minutes if I don't see any questions being asked. Okay, I'm going to then say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. And if you did have a question that you didn't want to ask now, you're welcome to give us a call or send us an email. And if you have not received the itinerary and you'd love to get it, as I said, please send us an email or pop on our website, and you'll be able to download the itinerary there if you use our chatbot. Have a good day, and thanks for joining.